You wake up with no alarm, no calendar, no boss asking why you are late. For one beautiful second, it sounds like freedom. Then your stomach growls. And suddenly, you remember the first rule of prehistory. Nobody cares about your work-life balance if there is no food. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? You may imagine them running constantly from predators, screaming in caves, throwing spears at mammoths, and inventing pants by accident. That sounds exciting. It is also mostly wrong. For most of human history, your ancestors were not office workers with worse Wi-Fi. They were foragers. A forager is someone who lives by hunting animals, gathering plants, finding water, making tools, sharing food, and moving through a landscape instead of farming one fixed field. Their day was not empty. It was full. But it was full in a way modern people often misunderstand. The strange part is this. Many hunter-gatherers, studied by anthropologists, did not spend every waking hour desperately searching for food. Richard Lee, the anthropologist who studied the Ju Hoansi, sometimes called the Dobe Kung in the Kalahari, found that food getting could take far less time than many modern people expect. That does not mean life was easy. It means the word work changes when nobody owns a time clock. Later, Marshall Sahlins used research like Lee's to describe some hunter-gatherers as the original affluent society. Affluent does not mean they had gold, cars, or a suspiciously expensive coffee machine. It means they often met their needs with relatively few possessions and fewer hours of direct food production than modern farming or industrial societies. That idea is famous. It is also dangerous if you make it too simple. Because ancient life was not a vacation. There was hunger, there was injury, there were bad seasons, parasites, infections, predators, conflict, grief, and children who somehow still found ways to be sticky without candy. So the real question is not whether ancient humans worked less. The real question is, what counted as work? Imagine your morning begins not with a phone, but with light. The sky becomes gray. Someone stirs near the fire. A child coughs. An elder is already awake because older bodies often sleep differently, and because someone always seems to know before everyone else that the fire is getting low. You do not check messages. You check the air. Is it cold? Is it damp? Did it rain upstream? Is the wind carrying smoke, animal smell, or something rotten? Your first inbox is the landscape. Then the group begins to separate into tasks. Some people look for plants. Some check traps or tracks. Some repair tools. Some stay near children. Some prepare food from yesterday. Some walk far. Some do not. Some talk, because talking is not laziness when memory is how a group stores information. There is no neat modern division between work, home, school, and social life. Everything overlaps. A child learns by watching hands. An adult gossips while fixing a tool. An elder tells a story that is also a map, a warning, a moral lesson, and possibly a complaint about young people making terrible decisions near rivers. This is one of the first things you would notice. A Stone Age day was not organized by hours. It was organized by needs. Water, food, heat, tools, children, safety, relationships, knowledge. If you think that sounds easy, try doing it without plastic, metal, writing, electricity, roads, supermarkets, or the ability to ask the internet whether a mushroom is about to ruin your entire lineage. You walk out with a small group. The ground is not just ground. It is a page covered in signs, a bent blade of grass, a track pressed into mud, a broken twig, a patch of fruit that was not ripe yesterday, a bird call that means something moved. Modern life teaches you to ignore most of the world. Foraging teaches you to notice almost everything. Among the Hadza of Tanzania, researchers such as Kristen Hawkes, James O'Connell, and Nicholas Blurton Jones studied how men, women, children, and elders contributed to food and care in different ways. The Hadza are living modern people, not fossils from the past. And they should never be treated like a perfect copy of ancient humans. But their lives help researchers ask better questions about how humans can organize food, care, and time without factories, farms, or bosses. One key lesson is that survival is not one heroic task. It is many small tasks done by many people. A hunter may bring back meat. A gatherer may bring back reliable plant foods. A grandmother may provide food, knowledge, and childcare. A child may learn skills by failing at tiny versions of adult tasks. A person who seems slow may remember where water stayed after the last dry spell. Someone who cannot run fast may still know which route keeps you alive. This is why ancient human life was social all the way down. You were not just collecting calories, you were collecting trust. By mid-morning, you may be walking with a digging stick, a basket, a stone blade, or nothing but memory and attention. If you are gathering, the work is not random. You need to know which plants are edible, which are bitter but safe, which are seasonal, which require processing, which cause stomach pain, and which are better left for the idiot in another tribe who insists he has a strong gut. If you are hunting, the problem is not simply bravery. It is patience. You follow tracks. You read dung. You listen. You wait. You fail. You fail again. You learn that animals also have schedules, preferences, fears, and annoying opinions about not being eaten. Ancient humans did not defeat the natural world by being stronger than it. They survived by understanding patterns. The day may include long walks. It may include hours of searching. It may include tool repair, food processing, carrying babies, collecting wood, making cordage, scraping hides, cleaning plants, cracking nuts, watching children, avoiding danger, and deciding when a place has nothing left to give. That last decision matters. When do you stay? When do you leave? Hunter-gatherer mobility, the movement between camps or food areas, was not wandering for fun. It was a response to energy, seasons, water, social ties, and risk. Archaeologists study stone tools, animal bones, hearths, and repeated camp layers, partly to understand how people used places over time. A cave floor, a scatter of flakes, or a burned patch of earth can reveal whether people returned again and again or only stopped briefly. To you, the landscape is scenery. To your ancestors, it was storage, calendar, map, pantry, school, and danger zone. Then comes the part modern people almost never picture. A lot of the day is not dramatic. It is preparation. You sit and repair. You scrape and sharpen. You twist fibers. You check a spear point. You clean a hide. You pound food. You carry water. You watch children do something medically stupid and stop them before history loses another genius to a rock. This looks boring from the outside, but boring is where survival hides. A tool that is repaired before the hunt matters. Dry wood collected before night matters. A child kept away from a snake matters. Food shared before conflict matters. A story told before the journey matters. Modern people often think productivity means visible motion. Typing, meetings, notifications, looking stressed enough that nobody gives you extra work. But ancient productivity could look like stillness. Watching, listening, remembering, waiting for the right moment. James Suzman, who has written about work and the lives of Kalahari Bushmen, argues that modern societies have made work into something almost sacred, as if a person must constantly prove their value by being busy. But for much of human history, work was not a moral identity. It was not who you were. It was what needed doing. When the need was met, you did not invent fake tasks, so your cave manager would respect you. There was no cave manager. Probably. If there was, everyone hated him. By afternoon, the group begins to pull itself back together. Some people return with food. Some return with stories about why they did not return with food. This is an ancient human tradition still alive in modern offices. The food has to be processed. Plants may need pounding, peeling, roasting, soaking, or sorting. Meat may need cutting, sharing, drying, or cooking. Bones may be cracked for marrow. Firewood may be gathered before dark. Tools may be checked. Children may be fed. Decisions may be made. Who gets what? Who needs more? Who helped? Who is sick? Who is pregnant? Who is old? Who is annoying but still useful? Sharing is not just kindness, it is insurance. Today you found food. Tomorrow someone else may find it. If every person hoards, the group becomes fragile. If food moves through relationships, survival spreads out. Anthropologists have often noticed that sharing among foragers can be structured by rules, expectations, reputation, kinship, joking, teasing, and social pressure. In plain English, if you get food and act like a selfish little goblin, people remember. And in a world where you need people to survive, being remembered badly is expensive. As the sun lowers, the day changes shape. The practical work does not disappear, but the mood shifts. Fire becomes important again. Not just for heat, not just for cooking. Fire creates a circle where humans can see faces. Polly Weissner, an anthropologist who studied firelight conversations among the Jew Hoansi, argued that daytime talk often focuses on practical matters, while nighttime firelight opens space for stories, imagination, social bonds, and emotional life. Around the fire, people do not only solve survival problems, they become a group. This may be one of the most human parts of the day. Not the hunt, not the spear, not the dramatic chase scene your thumbnail desperately wants. The talking. A story can carry a warning. A joke can reduce tension. A myth can explain a place. A memory can become a lesson. A complaint can become social control. A song can make fear smaller. You might think ancient humans spent the day surviving, and only modern humans spent the day thinking about meaning. But that is backwards. Survival itself created meaning. At Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists have found engraved ochre, shell beads, and bone tools associated with early Homo sapiens. Ochre is a natural pigment, often reddish, that people could use for marking, coloring, or practical mixtures. Shell beads suggest decoration, identity, or signaling. Engraving suggests deliberate marks. These are not the traces of creatures who only ate, slept, and panicked. They are traces of minds making symbols. So what did ancient humans actually do all day? They solved problems, but not just the obvious ones. They solved hunger with knowledge. They solved weakness with cooperation. They solved danger with attention. They solved memory with stories. They solved loneliness with firelight. They solved uncertainty by watching the world more closely than most modern people watch their own lives. And here is the uncomfortable twist. Your ancestors may not have been less busy than you. They were busy with things that made immediate sense. If they gathered wood, the fire stayed alive. If they listened, danger was noticed. If they shared, the group endured. If they taught a child, knowledge survived. If they rested, their body recovered for tomorrow. Modern life often breaks that link. You answer emails and nothing feels finished. You attend a meeting about a meeting. You eat food from a place you did not see, made by people you do not know, delivered through systems too large for any one brain to picture. You are busy, but the meaning is blurry. Your ancestors had danger. You have abstraction. They feared hunger. You fear unread messages. They watch the sky. You watch a loading bar. This does not mean the Stone Age was better. Do not romanticize diarrhea without antibiotics. But it does mean ancient humans were not stupid brutes wandering around waiting for civilization to rescue them. Their days were intelligent, social, physical, emotional, and deeply connected to the world around them. They were not doing nothing. They were doing everything required to keep a fragile human life going for one more day. And maybe that is why the question still bothers us. What did ancient humans actually do all day? They woke up, they looked around, they listened to the world, and then they did what needed doing. No alarm required.